Welcome, my dear students, to my channel and to my today's topic. Today, your topic is computer memory. Already in lower classes, in class 4, in class 5, already you have learned about computer memory. But today, we'll give you some more details about computer memory. So, the first question arises in your mind that what is computer memory? Like our human brain, a memory is just like the human brain. It is used to store data and instructions. Computer memory is the storage space in the computer where data is to be processed and instructions required for processing are stored. Okay? So, as human brain, computer memory is just used to store data and instructions. You know what are the instructions? When computer does some processing, that means it executing some instructions. Okay, so computer memory is basically the storage space, okay, in computer where data is to be processed and instructions required for processing are stored. Okay, okay, so now, but still we have a doubt, little bit confused. Okay, so take an example, simple example. It is like the human brain. Okay, so we know in biology what is the function of the human brain. So in computer also, this part is known as the CPU, Central Processing Unit. Basically, this part is known as the cabinet. Okay, cabinet, CPU cabinet. Okay, so just it is a box under this. It is a box. Inside this box, CPU, that means Central Processing Unit, is located. Okay, so CPU is the brain of the computer. Got it? Okay, so basically, human brain is similar to computer CPU. Okay, not CPU cabinet, but what is inside the CPU cabinet. Okay, that is the main CPU or the Central Processing Unit. Okay, so human brain equal to Central Processing Unit in computer. So we can say that the computer brain is a microprocessor called the Central Processing Unit. Okay, CPU. So here you will have the new term, that is microprocessor. What is microprocessor? And then Central Processing Unit. So it is very clear that it is a processing unit. So the task of this unit is to process something, and which part of this CPU process everything? That everything means some program. Okay, let's go for the next slide. So now we are trying to find out some ideas. We are now taking motherboard. So the motherboard looks like that way. Okay, okay, if you open the CPU cabinet, you will have this type of board is called motherboard. On this board, all the important chips or slots, all the important parts, mainly units, CPU units is there, where I am trying to make you understand. So this part is called or known as CPU socket. Okay, CPU socket. So CPU socket means, you know what is CPU, Central Processing Unit. So this socket or the place holds the CPU, that means Central Processing Unit. Okay, so another important part is there are some slots. These slots is used here. You have to RAM. Okay, so go to the next slide. Actually, this part is known as the microprocessor. This part of the computer is responsible to do any process. Okay, so this is the Intel 4th generation microprocessor chip. Okay, so microprocessor does all the processes. Okay, so this part CPU, so this CPU socket holds these process. Okay, this processor, this is called microprocessor. Okay, this is the responsible for all the tasks executed by the computer, or the basically CPUs, or central processing unit. Okay, so next part is units for measuring memory. Now look at, we know computer does not know anything except 0 and 1. So 0 and 1, that means in computer science every bit of information is in the form of bits or bytes. Okay, so let's understand what is bit and byte. Actually, computers happen to operate using binary number system. Okay, this implies that every piece of information is stored in the computer in the form of two digits only, 0 and 1. So already we know computer does not know anything except 0 and 1. Okay, so 0 and 1 are the binary units. Okay, so in binary number system we will have two digits, one is 0, another one is 1. Okay, now look at, a bit is the smallest unit of data that can be stored in a computer. Okay, so what is the smallest unit of data? That is bit, a bit, bit, bit. Okay, bit. So here you have to look for that statements. Every letter that you type using keyboard takes up 1 byte of memory space. Okay, every letter takes up 1 byte of memory. Got it? You have to think about that. So suppose you have one file, picture file or word file, anything, it will depend on the space is required. Okay, okay, so now this baby is now thinking about the units of computer memory. So what are the computer memory? We know the smallest unit is the bit, bit. Okay, so 1 bit equal 1 bit, that is binary digit, that may be 0, that may be 1. 8 bits equal to 1 byte. Okay, and 1024 bytes equal to 1 kilobyte, and so on. 1024 kb, that means kilobyte equal to 1 MB. Already we are very much familiar with all these words. Okay, terms: kilobyte, megabyte, gigabyte, terabyte, petabyte, exabyte, zettabyte, yottabyte, brontobyte, geobyte. So geobyte is the highest memory, and bit is the bit is the smallest memory. Okay, got it idea? Okay, so you have to learn this. Okay, next. So now this baby is thinking about the types of the computer memory. So what are the types of memory? Computer memory mainly has two parts. One is internal, that is called main or primary memory, and another one is external or secondary memory. So in the primary memory or the main memory, we will have two parts. One is ROM and another one is RAM. Already we are familiar with those words: RAM, ROM, internal memory, external memory, or secondary memory, etc. So here ROM is called non-volatile and RAM is called volatile memory. Okay, and so on. Okay, and under RAM there are two types. One is SRAM, another one is DRAM. SRAM means static RAM, DRAM means dynamic RAM, and all other divisions under the DRAM, and then all the divisions are there under DDR HDRAM. Okay, so basically we will focus on that part, okay. Okay, so already we have learned about the units. Now already we have learned about the main memory. Now the external or the secondary memory. So in the external or the secondary memory we will have four types. Okay, one is HDD, one is SSD, then compact disk, then USB or flash drive. Okay, so already we are familiar about HDD, that is hard disk drive, and another one is new technology, that is SSD. Okay, we will learn about SSD later. Okay, then compact disk, CD, DVD, already we have learned, then USB or flash drive. Okay, now go to the next slide. So now the primary memory. So what is the primary memory? Okay, we have to learn first. So for the first point is, it is the main memory of the computer. Okay, so that means computer cannot run without this memory. Okay, so main memory is must inside the computer. Number two, it holds only that information which is required for the current working of the computer. Got it? So whatever you are doing, like current you are doing some work on the computer, for that kind of thing primary memory is used. Okay, it helps to hold only that information which is required currently. Okay, number three is, already we have learned about it. Next is, it is much faster than the secondary memory. Okay, so its speed is higher or faster than the secondary memory. Next part is, CPU can access this memory directly. Okay, so CPU, the central processing units, access which memory? Primary memory, PM. Okay, next, it is made up of using integrated electronic circuits or semiconductor chips. So already at the below, already we have IC chips. Okay, this is the chips used in the computer. This is called IC chips. Okay, next, all are the advantages or main functions, but 6 points are the advantages and these 2 points are the disadvantages. Okay, and you can say that all these are the properties of the primary memory. So what is the disadvantage or other properties of primary memory? It has a limited capacity. Next point is, the data gets lost if the power is switched off. For this reason, this memory is called volatile memory. So number 1 point is, whenever the power of the computer is switched off, the data inside the primary memory gets lost. Okay, for this reason this memory is called volatile memory. So another question arises that, so what is the volatile memory? If the information in any memory lost if the power switch is off, okay, then it is called volatile memory. Okay, got it? Now the primary memory, Already we have learned that the properties of primary memory, what is IC chip. Now the part is the types of the primary memory. There are two types of primary memory. One is RAM, another one is ROM. Okay, so at below this is a picture of RAM and this is the picture of ROM. Okay, so the points are, RAM means we know random access memory. Okay, and ROM means read only memory. The basic difference is that both read and write operations can be performed in this memory. So in RAM, read and write operations can be done. Okay, but in ROM, no data can be written, only it is readable. So whatever informations are there inside ROM, we just read it, not write it, overwrite it. Okay, but in RAM it is readable and writable. Okay, next, the information is temporarily stored in RAM. Got it? Because we know already we have learned na, when power switch is off, then the information will be lost. Okay, but in ROM it stores information which is required to start the process of booting, and the information is permanently stored in ROM even the power switch is off. So if the power switch is off in the computer, the information inside the ROM will be there, but in RAM the information will be lost. Okay, so that it is called volatile memory and ROM is called non-volatile memory, as it retains the information inside it. Now here the term is booting. The point is, it stores information which is required to start the process of booting. So ROM stores the information for the booting process in our computer. Okay, so now you will ask me that, sir, what is booting? So go to the next slide. Now questions are, first question is, what is booting? So booting is the process of powering on or starting a computer and getting into the operating system. Next part is, why is RAM addressed as random? RAM is addressed as random because CPU can access any memory cell without accessing all cells sequentially. That means, suppose there are in computer memory, as I am talking about the memory, so we can think that there are so many cells. Okay, in so many cells, so each particular cell has individual address. Okay, and one bit can be stored in one box. Okay, so RAM is addressed random. Why? Because CPU can access any memory cell without accessing all the cells sequentially. Suppose all these are the cells, so there are 1 2 3 4 5 6 cells. Okay, so RAM can access any memory cell. Okay, why RAM is considered as volatile, already you have learned. Okay, so RAM is considered as volatile memory because the data in RAM is lost if the power is switched off. Okay, now the secondary memory. So what is the secondary memory? Secondary memory is the auxiliary memory or the helping memory for the computer. Okay, we can say that it is the external memory also. The data can be permanently stored in memory even if power is switched off. So the data or the information stored inside the secondary memory permanently stored if you are not deleting it. Okay, so that it is called non-volatile memory. But one disadvantage is there. We know the speed of primary memory is higher than the secondary memory. So the speed of this memory is slower than the main memory. Okay. Now we are talking about the parts of the secondary memory. So secondary memory has two parts or two types of devices. One is internal storage device, another one is external storage device. So in internal storage device we will have like this device, it is called HDD, hard disk drive, or we can say that hard disk. Okay, which is used to store the information whatever you are storing or saving, okay, in the computer in the secondary memory. Basically it is HDD. Okay, so this device is fixed inside the CPU cabinet. Okay, next part is external storage device. So what are the external storage devices? CD, DVD, pen drive or flash drive. All these devices are planned externally, so that all these devices are called external storage device. Okay, next part. So now question is, why do we require secondary memory in a computer when it already has an inbuilt primary memory? This is because the user cannot use primary memory to store their data. Primary memory is reserved for processes. Okay, so we cannot use the primary memory. Okay, primary memory is reserved for the processes. Okay, so the CPU can only access the main memory. Got it? Hence the contents of secondary memory are first transferred to the main memory and the CPU is able to access data stored there. Got it? So whatever the informations are there in the secondary memory firstly transferred to the main memory and then CPU can access it. Okay, got it? Okay, so that secondary memory is needed, okay, to save a lot of information and to help the computer. Next part. So now we'll be looking for the differences of CD DVD and their points. So you already have seen that this type of disc is called CD and this is the type of DVD. So CD stands for compact disc, the full form, and DVD is the digital versatile disc, or you can say that digital video disc. But one thing you should remember, that the spelling of disc, DISC, you have to remember. Okay, for CD DVD, and for hard disk you can write DISK. Okay, or you can write both, but check it. So basically CD is circular in shape. Okay, both of them CD and DVD are circular, both of them CD and DVD are circular in shape and easy to carry. But one disadvantage is it can store only about 700 MB of data, but a standard DVD can hold 4.7 GB of data. So DVD can store a lots of information where CDs cannot. Okay, the inventor of CD is James Russell. Okay, next part. Already we have learned about the HDD, hard disk drive, it is inside the CPU cabinet. It is used to store the information. It is a type of secondary memory. Okay, here the hard disk drive looks like that way. Okay, so we store all the information in this part. So this is the diagram of hard disk or hard drive or HDD. So look it very carefully. So it is a fixed inside the CPU cabinet, already I have told. It can store a lot of information, okay, greater than DVD, CD. Okay, it consists of one or more platters. So what are platters? Platters means disk. So look at that. Here there is the so many disks, one by one. Okay, okay, so these disks are known as the platters. This is the spindle. Okay, and this point or the nip like head is known as the read write heads. Okay, and these are the connection connected to the computer, that means CPU. Okay, got it? So the points are, it is a fixed inside the CPU cabinet. It can store a lot of information. It consists of one or more platters, that means disk, already told na. These are the disks, one by one are there. Data is stored on these platters using a magnetic head. Okay, this is read write head. Okay, now the points is pen drive or flash drive. So already we have used it, we use it regularly to store the data. Okay, to carry the information, songs, videos. Okay, so this is pen drive. Okay, so it is very much handy to carry. So a pen drive or USB flash drive is a portable data storage device. Portable means we can carry it. Data storage device means we can store data in this device. Next point is, pen drive have replaced the floppy drives. Okay, its capacity is higher than the floppy disk. Next is, a pen drive can be easily carried, already told. Currently available pen drives with storage capacities ranging from 8 GB and 32 GB. Okay, can be used to store graphic heavy document, photos, music file and video clips. Okay, so pen drive is basically the USB flash drives, portable data storage device. It is a replace of floppy drive that was used earlier. Okay, next, so the last point is magnetic tapes. In the previous years, in the year of 80s 90s, we used cassettes to store videos, audios. Okay, so it looks like that. Okay, so there is a thin film. Okay, this film is type of magnetic material. So magnetic tape is a long narrow strip of plastic that thin magnetic material is coated on. Okay, so number 1 point is, magnetic tape is a long narrow strip of plastic and magnetic material is coated on it. Okay, these tapes are used to store high volume of data. Okay, next part. So the last part is solid state drive. It is under the secondary memory. So this, what are the properties of this SSD or the solid state drive? It is a new technology. It is a secondary storage device. It is very light and small in weight, as it looks like. It takes up very little space and is much faster than the hard disks. Okay, so already we have talked about the HDD, and this is the SSD. So SSD is much faster than the hard disk. Okay, so this is the new technology. Okay, solid state drive. And the last point is it is used in laptops called ultrabooks. So solid state drive basically used in ultrabooks, and it is much faster than the hard disk. Okay, so already we have learned the properties of primary memory, secondary memory, difference RAM, ROM, and all other types. I think your concept is now clear. So thank you very much for this video and topic.